welcome to Levant TV headlines. The Syrian army, backed by allied fighters, has captured several villages north of Aleppo from insurgents and blocked a main supply route leading into the northern city amid heavy fighting. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has urged the UN Security Council to adopt a resolution allowing for an international military intervention in troubled Libya. Military chiefs from around the world will gather in the Saudi capital, Riyadh, on Wednesday for a two-day meeting to assess the battle against Islamic State extremists. Morocco has announced that flights between Morocco and Libya have been suspended because security at Libyan airports is not up to international standards. And Turkey's parliament is holding new debates on a contentious security bill boosting police powers, which activists fear will create an effective police state under President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Now let's take a look at the top headlines in today's newspapers in the Middle East. Starting with the UAE, the Khalij Times leads reporting that Egyptian warplanes struck Daesh targets in Libya in swift retribution for the extremists' beheading of a group of Egyptian Christian hostages. The paper also reports that forces loyal to Yemen's president said they seized strategic buildings in the southern city of Aden after a 5-hour battle, escalating a civil conflict that threatens to split the country in two. From Lebanon, the Daily Star leads reporting that a man was shot and wounded during an army raid in a village south of Baalbek as security forces expanded its crackdown on fugitives. The paper also reports that military prosecutor Sakar has charged pop singer turned Salafist al-Sheikh with inciting sectarian hatred and harming Lebanon's ties with a friendly state via Facebook. The Egypt Independent leads reporting that the Muslim Brotherhood condemned the beheadings of 21 Coptic Egyptians by the Islamist militant group Islamic State in Libya, saying President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's government is fully responsible for the deaths. The paper also reports that the South Sinai Governorate has hired artist Ahmed Shiha to decorate Sharm el-Sheikh city ahead of the International Economic Conference scheduled for March. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines from the UK papers. The Independent leads its Middle East news, reporting that a teenage would-be suicide bomber with ISIS has spoken of his regret in a tearful interview after his arrest in Iraq. The 17-year-old boy, who claimed the extremist group recruits children as young as the age of 14 to carry out attacks, said ISIS militants showed him how to wear an explosive vest and promised him he would go straight to heaven after detonating his. The Guardian leads its Middle East news, reporting that Egyptian warplanes have hit jihadi targets in Libya in swift revenge for the murder of 21 Christian workers by masked militants affiliated to the Islamic State, widening the North African country's already grave crisis. Egyptian airstrikes killed 64 ISIS fighters, including 3 of the leadership, in the coastal cities of Derna and Sirte. The Telegraph leads its Middle East news, reporting that Iran's supreme leader has criticized the film American Sniper, saying the movie about a US soldier fighting in Iraq encourages violence against Muslims. The comments by Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, published in the daily Iran Farsi newspaper, come amid renewed criticism of the West by the leader as his country negotiates with world powers over its contested nuclear program. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines in the international papers. The International New York Times reports that the deputy head of the Muslim Brotherhood in Jordan has been sentenced to 18 months in prison for criticizing the United Arab Emirates in a Facebook post. The State Security Court, a special body that has jurisdiction over Jordan's internal and external threats, found the Brotherhood leader Zaki Bani Rushaid guilty of acts harmful to the country's relations with a friendly nation. And finally, China's Global Times reports that the international community has unanimously condemned the latest beheading of 21 Egyptian Christians in Libya by Islamic State militants and called for strong global actions against terrorism. Jordan said such criminal and terrorist acts are not related to Islam, as terrorism has no religion, calling for intensified efforts. And for more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching. Be sure to join us again tomorrow. Bye for now.